Go. Hey everybody, how's it going?
Fantabulous.
That's great. Great to hear. How was the studio?
Hard.
Was it?
Yes.
It's not good.
When I got down to the it was easy. I was cruising through, and then I came to an abrupt stop.
Oh no, what section?
well, we worked through some of it, but the methods, just getting down to the methods was like.
Oh, that's not what I like to hear. I wish you just came in and be like, oh, it's super breezy. Kyle, you'll be in and out in 15 minutes.
The methods just got a little confusing.
All right, well then, let's go ahead and explore it. I want to save all.
Probably not for you. You're probably going to breeze right through them.
I don't know. Some of these studios trip me up too. I think it's fun not to look. I don't even look at the studios until I do this. So at least for this, I mean, I've done them before. I think I've done all these before in the past, like when I mentored, but I have not seen them for at least a year. So they're fun. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna go and start sharing my screen. Live transcripts. There we go. Share screen. On desktop. All right, can you all see that?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Whew. Let's do this. All right. Studio TypeScript 27.8. Let's practice TypeScript by classes for rocket cargo calculations. Oh, that already sounds fancy. All right. 27.8.1 starter code. If you have not already done so, follow the instructions given in the TypeScript exercises to fork the GitHub repository. Use terminal to check if you are okay. Well, I have not done that, so I guess I'll do that. All right, it looks like you need to log into the GitHub account and fork this TypeScript thingamabobber. Let's go ahead and do that. Come over here and I'll go ahead and press fork. It's gonna fork it. Come on, internet, there we go. Code, copy that. Clicked on code, clicked on copy, because what am I gonna do next, class? Who's gonna fork it, teach? Dang right I am. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna come in here. I am going to clear that to make it easier for me. I'm gonna cd change directory into desktop. Maybe, where am I? Oh, I'm already in LC. Well, that makes things a lot easier. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm already in LC. I'm in where I keep all my launch code stuff. So what I'm gonna do is type what? Who's got the energy to tell me what I have to do now to clone?
Git clone.
Git clone, thank you. If you want me to do this, you gotta talk to me. You gotta keep me awake here. All right, there we go. It is cloned. Go ahead and open up LC, and I see that TypeScript LC 101 projects is there. Fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and now open this up in Visual Studio Code. There we go. I'm gonna press open here. It's gonna pop this thing open, gonna go into desktop because that's where LC is. Gonna double click on LC, go to single click TypeScript LC 101 projects, and then press open. There we go. It's gonna open Visual Studio Code, and we are well on our way, team. All right, I see exercises and I see studio. I have a feeling I'm gonna be in this studio thing here during the studio. Move my stuff over, there we go. All right, so we have successfully done that. Oh, stop it. What in tarnation is going on with my Chrome today? I need to restart my computer. It's just not being fun. Okay then, fine, Mac. Force quit. You want to play rough? We'll play rough. I'm just gonna force quit you. Yeah, there you go. I told it. No yawning. This is fun. We're having fun. All right, here we go. Back to it. Oh, I need to go to my, where am I going now? I'm going to launch code. Launch code, chapters, go way down to TypeScript Studio. Oh, get ready for Angular next week. That's going to be a fun one. Part 1 through 3. All right, so use the terminal to check that you are in the master branch, then navigate into the studio folder. All right, let's go ahead and make sure that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go up here. I'm gonna say terminal, new terminal. It's gonna pop up at the very bottom here. And what I'm gonna do is say get status first, just to check out what's going on. Okay, I have that. So I'm gonna say get branch to see where I'm at. I see that I am on the master branch. Remember to check what branch you're on. You type in get branch. That is what we use. I should have worn a hat today. So I'm all over the place. It's been a long Thursday. All right, we are in the master branch, then navigate to the studio folder. All right, that studio folder, again, is right here. I already have it highlighted. I see my stuff. So we navigated over to it. I'm gonna call that navigating over to it. Unless you want me to do, oh, they want me to CD into studio. Okay, fine, I'll CD into studio. All right, CD studio. Remember, you can press tab to autofill the rest of it in there. That's what I've been doing. So if you don't see me type the whole thing, because I pressed tab, because I'm lazy. And then I type in ls to see all of my stuff in there. So I see payload.ts and index.ts. So there we go. We have what we need to see. On to 27.8.2. We are on a roll here. Requirements. Create classes for astronaut, cargo, and rocket. Details below. Add classes should be defined in their own, all classes should be defined in their own files. Use the new classes to run a simulation in the index.ts file. All right, go and do that. Excuse me. So, all classes. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and create those files then. So what I'm going to do is right click, because I know I have to create 3 classes. I'm going to call it astronaut.ts. Did I spell that right? Of course I chose the most difficult word here first to do. Let's make sure I actually spelled that right. I'm going to say I did. Right click, new file, and this one is going to disappear on me, but I need cargo and rocket. So right click, new file, cargo.ts, and then new file. Wow, rocket. I almost forgot the word already. Rocket.ts. Sweet. We have our 3 files now created, so we can put our 3 classes in there. Sweet. So these classes are okay. In the starter code, you'll notice that an interface named payload has been declared. The interface ensures that any class that implements it will have a mass kilogram property. All right, so create 3 new files. Well, let's go look at that payload. I'm curious. Okay, yeah, it's an interface. I can know it's an interface because it's being exported. It says interface, hence the strong hint that this is an interface, and then it's called payload. Cool, we got it. On to creating these new files, astronaut, cargo, and rocket. Guess what? We already did that. We're proactive. New file button, we did that. Enter the file's name, we also did that. The option to run the command touch new file name in the terminal. I guess we could have done that, but I just like the GUI. I like it's fancier. Define each class, unless anybody's curious to see touch new file name. We can go ahead and do that real quick, just so we can see it. Touch, let's just say new file and then name.ts, and we'll just see what that is. Oh, look at that, it created a new file for us. We could have done that as well. So that's how we do it through the CLI. I'll show you that. And move to trash. Cool. But I already created the other 3 files the boring other way, so that's the way I'm going to keep it. Define each class, astronaut, cargo, rocket, in a separate file. Each class should be exported using the export, and then it gives us that example. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is going to take this code that gave me for free, didn't have to pay a dime, I'm going to go and paste it right there because that is for the astronaut class. Additionally, I'm going to go into cargo, paste that, say cargo, all right, and then rocket, because I know all these classes are going to at least start out the same. They might not end the same, but we can start them out exactly like the others. And don't forget to save these things. There we go. So how is everyone doing so far? Do we have any questions? Questions at all? All good? Cool. That's what I like to hear. As needed, the classes can be imported using the import. All right, so with the previous instructions told me that we're going to use these 3 classes for a simulation. So I know I'm going to have to import astronaut, cargo, and rocket somewhere, but I don't exactly know yet. I have a hint. I have a strong theory that it might be index.ts, but I don't know just yet. So let's go ahead and create the classes. We'll talk about importing later. On to 27.8.3.1, basically long enough to be a phone number. Astronaut class defined in astronaut.ts implements the payload interface. I'm going to go step by step. So implements the payload interface. What I'm going to do is say implements payload. Now that's fine, but we're going to get a red line here because we have no idea what payload is in this file. So class, what do we have to do?
Import.
Import, yeah. So we're going to import payload like that from, you guessed it, payload. .ts. Just like that. Oh, and I need to do that. There we go. What are you so complaining about? Oh, what? Fine. I don't remember that being a rule, but okay. And our complaint now, so this is how we are going to import payload here. So we can now implement payload, which we just did down here. But now I'm getting another red line. Let's chase these errors. Class astronaut incorrectly implements interface payload. It means we're not doing everything that we said we would by our contract over in the interface. So property mask kilograms is missing in type astronaut. So we have to put that in there. So that's what we're going to do. As always, we define our class variables at the top. ABL, yes. So down here, we're going to say mass kilogram. And I have a theory it's going to be a number. Going to payload. Oh, wow. I guessed it right. It is a number. Sweet. There we go. So we are on our way. We have implemented mass kilograms. So let's keep seeing what else we need to do here. Properties, mass kilogram should be a number. Okay, got that one. And now we should do a name. We have to have a name for our astronauts. We're going to come back over here, type in name. Name is going to be a string. Awesome, awesome. Number 3 is done. On to number 4. We need to build a constructor. Remember, classes always, always, always need to have a constructor. So we're going to be putting that as second, constructor. So down here, it says we need to do parameters of mass kilograms and a name, and then we should set those. So we've done this before. So what word do I need to start out with to build a constructor? Strong hint.
Constructor.
Thank you, constructor. Making sure you're still awake. Mass kilograms, kg, and then the name are going to be passed in there as the parameters. How do we set class variables? What keyword do we use? This, very good. Mass kilograms equals mass kilograms. Awesome, awesome. This dot name equals name. There we go. Our constructor is set up, and that means number 4 is done, and that means astronaut class is done. Yes, let's move on. 27.8.3.2 cargo class defined in the cargo.ts for number 1. We already made that file. Number 2 implements the payload interface. We're going to do the exact same thing. You know what I'm going to do? My lazy self says copy this thing right here, go over to cargo and do the exact same thing. Paste that, and then it implements. There we go, payload. We're going to get that red line. Why do we get that red line? Who can remind me why we are getting that red line there? What are we missing?
Mass kilogram.
We're missing mass kilograms. Very good. So we're going to go and put mass kilograms. We're going to say number. And just like magic, the red line's gone. Awesome. Let's see what else we need. We need material, which should be a string. We're seeing this in number 3 here. So let's go and do that. Material. That should be a string. Awesome. Cool, cool. Okay, so on to constructor. Parameters, mass kilograms, and the material, and we got to set those things. So we have done this before. That's our second step here. Constructor, mass kilograms, and then we've got to pass in a material. You know what I'm not doing that I should absolutely be doing? I should be putting the types here. Why has no one yelled at me yet? Come on, it's your guys' job to yell at me. String, there we go. And then how we always set our class variables, the keyword this, mass kilograms equals mass kilograms. This dot material equals material. There we go. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Boy Scout. I'm going to go back here. Astronaut. Yes, I need to do that. Number and name. Am I still having everybody? Is everyone with me still? Any questions? Any questions at all? All right. Because we are done with our we are done with our cargo class. On to rocket class. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay. Let's dive into it. Rocket.ts properties. We need a name total capacity kilograms, cargo items, and astronauts. Okay, I'm gonna just copy that because over two things, I cannot remember it right now. So into the rocket TS class, does it need to get payload? It does not, so we don't need to actually do payload on here. It means it says nothing about it, so we're good there. What it does say is that we need to do a constructor. And it gives us all of this stuff. All right. Yeah, do I need a name too? I do need a name, okay. So what I'm gonna do is start defining my class variables up here first, just to see what I need to pass in. Variables. So it says I need a name, which is gonna be a string. And then it says total capacity kilograms should be a number. Did I spell that right? There. Okay, cargo items. Items should be an array of cargo objects. All right, this is a fun one. Anybody can tell me what I need to put here for this one in TypeScript?
Cargo with a capital C, and then the square brackets for an array.
Gold star, yes, 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 there we go. But we have a red underline. What's happening? What do we need to do here?
Import.
Definitely do. We need to import cargo. If we're going to use cargo, we need to import cargo. So we're going to say cargo, and look at that. Visual Studio Code helped me out with that one. So yes, you type in cargo, and now it imports cargo. Our red line is gone. We're on our way. Let's keep going down it. Should be initialized to an empty array. So we will pause with that one for a second. We'll do that in the constructor. And an astronaut should be an array of astronaut objects. So, oh gosh, the word that I cannot spell, but of course it is the theme of launch code astronaut. And I type in astronaut here. And just like before, we put those open and close square brackets to dictate that it is an array. So there we go. Now we're gonna do astronaut. Ronat. Maybe. Ha, got it. All right, import astronaut because we're using it down here. So we are importing now cargo and astronaut. Why? Again, because we're using them down here. We called them out individually. We're going to be making arrays of those two things. We have to import them into this project so we can use them, or into this class so we can use them. All right, finally, we need to make our constructor. So we say constructor needs a name, which is a string. We say total capacity, kg, which is a number. And then we do cargo items, which is a cargo array. And then astronauts, A-S-T-R-O-N-A-U-T-S. I swear it, A-S-T-R-O-N-A-U-T-S. There. No, not plural. There we go. Huh. Make like a spelling game out of that word. All right, this is a pretty big line. So what I'm going to do just for our benefit is I'm going to put enter on after each of these parameters, just so we can see them. So I can format it like this, just to make it a little bit prettier for all of us. So what I'm going to do here is now I need to set the global variable, the class variable. So I say this dot name equals name, this dot cargo items, or sorry, this dot total capacity equals total capacity. And I think I made a mistake here, actually. Let me go back and read the directions. So properties, okay, these are the properties that I went way far. Yeah, I went totally past it. So these are the properties. So I apologize. It said down here, it should be initialized to an empty array in the properties. So I need to come up here and add something. I need to say equal to empty array. I need to initialize this to an empty array. So that's how I do it right here. I forgot that, my B. All right. Constructor name should be a string, parameter total capacity kilograms should be a number, and sets the value of this dot name and this dot total capacity kilograms. There we go. So that is how we do it right there. And I do not need these actually in my constructor. I lied because I can do that. I can lie. Just kidding. Sorry, I don't like lying, guys. Yes.
Why did you put the cargo array equals array?
On which line are you looking at? Line 8. So
And-
that one specifically says in our properties, cargo items should be an array of cargo objects, and additionally should be initialized to an empty array. This is saying our cargo items is going to be an array of cargo items. As you see, cargo objects here. And this part says that it's going to initialize it to an empty array. So this is part 1, and then this is part 2.
Okay, so the variable for cargo items is the object cargo, and the equals brackets is what makes it the empty array.
Right, exactly. So remember, arrays are just containers. They're giant shipping containers, and we can put whatever we want inside of them.
I missed
So-
that the first time.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah. Oh, what I just said, or
In the breakout rooms, like, I just had like cargo with the brackets and then the semicolon, and I was like, wait, why is there 2? So,
oh, gotcha. Yeah, sorry. I just came back because I saw that I missed that in the instructions. So yeah, I just put that in there. Nope, cool. So all good now?
Why is it not working?
yeah, but my constructor stuff looks different than yours.
Okay, I
It's not
remember
going
I did format this just to make it a little bit prettier. So all I did was just press enter, just so we can all read it because my font's a little bit bigger on my screen. But this is what it would look like normally. But all right.
Okay, I wanted to make sure it all lined up. Like I had the same pieces in there that you did.
No, all good.
It
All
looked different. All right, it's good. Got it. I'm all caught up.
Cool. All right, so we did the constructor, so we're done with part 3. On to the methods. This is where I heard some things were happening. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's start with sum mass. Sum mass takes in the items for the payload and then a number. So I'm gonna just copy that. Again, keeping that theme of being lazy. Returns the sum of all the items using each item's mass kilogram property. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. So I created this method here. And I put that, there we go. All right, and I'm gonna get a complaint here because payload, cannot find name payload. I haven't imported payload yet, so my class has no idea what I'm talking about. So what I can do is come up here and I say payload. I have to import it because I'm gonna be using it, so therefore I need to import it. I'm also gonna get a red line under here because this is the return type. So it's saying, Kyle, you promised me you return a number, but you're not returning anything right now. So what the heck's going on? That's the error that's going on here. So we have set up our function. I'm not gonna worry about that red line just yet. Let's set up the code first and then we'll return something. Finally, this is what that function is supposed to do. So I'm gonna just add a comment above here so I remember what it is. So returns all the sums of the items using each item's mass kilogram property. All right, how do I go through this? What am I gonna use?
For loop.
For loop, very good. So we're gonna do a for loop and say let I equal 0, I less than items dot length, gth I plus plus, fantastico. All right, and then also need to add things up. So as I iterate through this loop, I have to remember the sum of everything. So I need to make sure I include what outside of the for loop.
Return.
What was it?
Return.
Well, we're going to return the sum at the very end, but we need to actually remember it. What do we use to remember things in programs?
Variable.
A variable. Very good, a variable. So we're going to say let total mass equal 0, because we always start at 0 when we're adding things. So now what I'm going to do is say total mass plus equal, and then items at I dot, and there's our object inside of our class, or there's our property inside of our class, mass kilograms. Use I for the index here to get it out of the array. I get the property mass kilograms by that dot. And there we go. We're adding up everything as a total mass. What's the final thing I need to do here to make everybody happy?
Return
Very good. We're going to return it. What are we going to return?
total mass.
Total mass. Absolutely. Very good. There we go. Our sum mass function is completed. Cool, cool. We are not able to test it just yet, so let's keep going on. We need a current mass kilograms number. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, bring it over here, paste it, come back over, and let's actually see what we need to do. Copy that, put that comment there, and set up my function. Perfect. All right. Use this .sum mass to return the combined mass of this astronauts and this cargo items. Okay, all right, fancy, let's do it. So what I'm gonna do is I need to use sum mass how many times in this function? Who can tell me right off the bat?
2.
2. We have to do it for astronauts and we have to do it for the cargo items. So therefore, how many variables I'm gonna have to create to remember those 2 masses? As I just said the answer. Not a trick question, 2 exactly. So I'm gonna say let astronaut weight or mass to equal some mass, and then I need to put in all of the astronauts. Where are my astronauts stored at? Where are my astronauts stored?
An array.
It's in an array. We have an array of astronauts, but that array is floating around somewhere in this code. Where are our astronauts?
Astronauts.
Very good. It's our class variable up here. That's where our astronauts are. So how do we access
this dot astronaut?
Very good. Absolutely. We need to access this by saying this dot astronauts. We have to access our class variables using the keyword this. Remember that class variable is a global variable, so it's always within the context of our class, and we can access it using this. So let's do it with cargo mass. Cargo mass equals this dot sum mass this dot cargo. Again, we're getting that class variable cargo items, which is right up here. That's what this is doing. And isn't it cool that we can put in astronauts on cargo items, 2 different objects, 2 different classes into the same function? Again, it's because of our interface payload. Both cargo and astronaut implement payload. Hence, we use the parent payload. So both of those, astronauts and cargo, can go into the same function because they're the same type at a very high level. So that's what we're doing there.
Do you need to say that astronaut mass and cargo mass are numbers or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I always forget that. That's absolutely correct. So there we go. Perfect. And okay, and use to return the combined mass. So it says we need to return the combined mass. So we say return astronaut mass plus cargo mass. There we go. That's how we can return that together. So we can take out a line, so we don't have to create a whole new variable with both those masses combined. So right there in the return. Awesome. All right, we have finished this. Any questions about this function?
You use something like a reduce method to add them together.
You technically could do a reducer. We haven't really talked about reducers in class, so if you feel comfortable using them, feel free. Yeah, that's completely fine. As long as I always don't like reducers because I always mess up which one is the accumulator. So I always tend to stay away from reducers just out of my own PTSD. But no, feel free to do reducers if you'd like.
Which is it's all still written the same way? Or is there like colons and numbers that you have to add in?
In a reducer? Or are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I don't know. How would you, do you write out a method any differently in TypeScript?
So our methods are the same, except that all we have, so this is the method right here in TypeScript. All we've added was the colon and then the return type. So remember, TypeScript, we're just adding the data types to everything. So the structure of a method does not change. We add some things to it, which is this colon number. So we add the actual response return data type, as well as up here, you'll see that we also add the data types for the parameters as well. When it comes to reducers, you're typically going to be using an anonymous function though for those. So these are named functions. In the reducer, you're going to be using an anonymous function, which still holds true to how you're going to be doing it. And just, of course, add the return type to that one as well. But I might be going off on a tangent here, not answering your question. So I guess, can you give me a little bit more detail or context around what you're asking?
We just were, I guess, considering it in breakout room, and I was just wondering, like, okay, if we had used it, do we have to do like reduce at the parentheses and then add the colon in the number?
So real quick. I always forget my reducers. Let me go and look at reducer, JavaScript. Let's get that annotation.
I mean, if it's going to be a whole thing, you can skip it.
So we can talk offline about that. I mean, these are, I was just looking up where the accumulator was and where the current value was. So I mean, again, you're going to use that anonymous function. You're going to place it in the reducer, which a reducer is whatever your array is, which in our case, our array is going to be our payload, which is going to be cargo items or astronauts. And what we're going to do is that we're going to use the reducer to go through each item, go through each cargo item, or go through each astronaut, get the mass kilograms, and add it to the current value. That's what a reducer does. If you're familiar with mathematical concepts, it's like a summation, not summation. Thank you. Yeah, it's a summation. So that's what a reducer is. So Melanie, if you want, I know we have time scheduled, so we can talk about this a little bit more one-on-one. But if anyone out there is interested in reducers, this is where you would find it. It's called reduce in JavaScript. And thank you for correcting. I don't know why I almost said like sigmoid function or something like that. That's I think what I was going for. Is like, no, summation. So yeah, thank you for getting my mind on track. Oh, it's been a while since I had to do one of those. But Melanie, does that help out a little bit? Otherwise, we can talk offline.
Yeah, it was just more of a curiosity.
Yeah, for sure. And we can go through that example, but yeah, reduce is what you're looking for. But we wouldn't use reduce in the current mass kilograms function. We would use that in the some mass function because we're trying to add here.
That's where we thought about using it, and then just thought some
Here
was
we're just
easier.
grabbing the values from some mass and adding those together. That's what this function does. So cool. I like those questions. All right, we're going to move on to the can add function here. Let's go back here, bring it down here. We're doing something with a Boolean. All right, let's see what's going on. All right, returns true if this dot current mass kilograms plus item dot mass kilograms is less. Oh, okay. Okay. Why did they write this as a function? Oh, because that's a function. Touche. That was something else. Okay. Well, honestly, all we have to do really is copy this and return it. Well, that's easy enough. Well, let's actually deep dive into what we're going on here. So what it's asking is that, okay, you need to check to see if this dot current mass kilograms plus the item's mass kilograms is less than or equal to the class variable this dot total capacity kilograms. So what we can do is we can say let extra item mass, because it's going to be the current mass kilograms, this dot current mass kilograms plus the item here dot mass kilograms, just like that. And so we're going to say let is too much or something like that. What we can do is say extra item mass less than or equal to this right here. There we go. And then we would return that Boolean is too much. So this right here is going to be a number. This right here is a Boolean. If we wanted to like deconstruct that just a little bit. So any questions about this one?
It's okay though, just to return it, right?
Oh yeah, we can just
Okay.
that and return. I just wanted to deconstruct it just a little bit if anyone was having any questions, but I would just highly recommend just returning that.
Oh.
They gave us the answer in the description. I say use it. Awesome. Any questions about this? Awesome. All right, let's move on to add cargo. Come down here. Nope. Always put my brackets there. And then for the description, oh, we have some descriptions here. Alrighty. Neat. Let's see what you're getting into here. All right, uses this dot can add to see if another item can be added. If true, adds the cargo to the cargo items and returns true. If false, returns false. Okay, start at the top, work our way down. Uses this dot can add to see if another item can be added. Hence, I'm gonna be probably using an if statement. So if this dot can add. Now I know can add returns true if another item can be added or the item that I provide in the parameters. So I'm going to say cargo here. I'm going to see if this cargo item can be added. It will return true if it can be added. So I'm going to put that in here. It returns true. So if true, so this is if it's true, else, and then this is false. If false, so there we go. These are our two situations here. I'll take out this. There we go. All right, if true, adds the cargo to this dot cargo items and returns true. So how do I add something to an array? Who can tell me?
Push.
Very good. So I say this dot cargo items, I'm going to call again to that class variable. I say dot push, just like that, and I add cargo. And then what does it tell me I need to do? I need to return true. If false, I have to return false. So this is one way I can do it. I also know that return on here will just get out the second it sees it. So I actually don't even need this else statement. I can just say return false. I want to do it a little bit different too. So those are two ways we can do that. So any questions about this? All right, I'm hearing crickets. Let's keep going. Add astronaut. As always, I'm going to copy this, bring it over, and we'll see what we need to do. All right, take this. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, uses this dot can add to see if another another astronaut can be added. So first things first, I'm going to add that if statement. If this dot can add, and then I'm going to take this astronaut right here and pass in astronaut. All right, if true, I have to do this. If false, it says return false. So we already know what we're going to do there. We're just going to put return. So I'm going to do that, return false. So if true, adds astronaut to this dot astronauts and returns true. Okay, so we're going to be doing exactly what we did in the previous one, just with astronauts this time. So this dot astronauts dot push astronaut, and then we return true. Just like that. Any questions about that? All right, out of all the methods, who found, which one did anyone find the toughest? Out of my own personal curiosity.
All of them.
All of them, oh gosh, well, I mean, touche.
Yeah.
Any that stood out in particular?
We only got to C.
C, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Does this make a little bit more sense of the direction that we're supposed to go in for these methods / functions?
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah, Andrew.
Are all of these still inside the constructor?
Nope. The only thing that will most likely ever go in the constructor, especially in these examples, are the two properties.
Okay, so all these were outside.
Yep. So our methods will always be declared outside of the constructor. So our constructor is second, and then we put our methods third. So the only thing that is declared in the constructor is that we set our class parameters or class properties, class variables, to what's passed into these parentheses. Any other questions?
How do we compile this now?
So we haven't compiled it just yet. We haven't even seen those instructions. So we're going to keep working down and we'll see exactly how we're supposed to do this one. So
Gotcha.
stick with me and we will get there eventually. All right, let's move on to 27.8.4 simulation in index.ts. Paste the code shown below into index.ts. Well, that's an easy one. It's like if you're playing Candyland, you get to skip like 10 spaces. Heck yeah. All right. Index.ts, there we go. You ever start looking at your computer like, wow, I need glasses. You can't read anything now. All right. We pasted all of that in there. Okay. Is that it? Okay. I like that section. 27.8.5, compile and run index.ts. This is what we all been waiting for. Let's go ahead and I got a gnat in here. Stop it. Where the heck are you guys coming from? Anyway, compiling and running index.ts. Use the terminal and VS Code to compile your index.ts. This will also compile the modules you imported into the file, astronaut, rocket, etc. Then use the command index.js. Well, let's pause here. Let's do step number 1. I'm going to come down here and we're going to now compile it. So who can tell me how I compile index.ts? What am I going to do?
TCS. TCS and
TSC.
TCS. Yeah. TSC.
TSC, which stands for TypeScript compiler or compilation. So I don't know, something like that. That's how I remember it. TSC, TypeScript compiler, compilation, something like that. And then index.ts. Hit that enter button. And magic.
If we are on Windows, do we need to download a package to get TSC to compile?
So any computer, any OS, you're going to have to do that. So check out 27.6 that you're reading in TypeScript in order to download the packages necessary to run that.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so we have compiled. So now we need to use the command node index.js to run this thing. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say node index.js. Press enter. Look at that. We ran a simulation. Aren't we cool? So it looks like May, Sally, Charles, and are all on board. Awesome. The satellite is loaded. The space probe is loaded. We got water, food, Tesla roaster, not loaded. Oh, that stinks. And then final cargo, astronaut mass, 56.78. Cool. We just ran that. Only compiles. Make sure, Christopher, that you're saving your index.ts. We have to make sure that we save all of our files before we compile.
Wait, can you go back?
Yep. Which portion would you like to see?
I'm doing 14. I had some trouble
14.
copying that thing, so I'm a little behind.
Okay. Well, so all this was just copy and pasted. So I would recommend, I have to keep going, but I would
Where did
recommend
that
just
come
looking at,
from?
I'm sorry?
14 through 17 was a copy?
Are we talking about this section right here?
Yes.
What about it?
That was copied from something?
All of this was copied from up here in 27.8.4. So this whole thing is actually given to us. So we would copy and paste this right into index.ts.
Oh shit. Sorry, I put in the wrong one.
No, it's okay. No, all good. So we compiled it and now we're on to submitting the work. Once we have our project working, use the terminal to commit and push your changes up to your forked GitHub repository, log into your account, navigate to your project, copy the URL, and put it into your stuff. Yeah. So I will do part of that though. I will cd back in here and say ls. I'm going to say git add dot git commit dash am or dash m finished FINISH studio. Enter and then git push. There we go. I pushed everything up to my GitHub. It's there forever. Awesome. All right. That right there, everyone, is our TypeScript studio. Awesome.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, but I will stick around for, I saw some people having some questions. I have a little bit of time left, so I can stick around for a little bit longer. Go ahead and